Mother, tell your children not to walk my way. Tell your children not to hear my words, what they mean, what they say. Mother.
Hello all, and welcome to this, and I guess we're going to talk wrestling. I guess. I'm not sure right now, but I think we're going to talk wrestling. But we're back. We don't have a lot to talk about wrestling-wise, so this might be kind of all over the place. There's definitely stuff to talk about, though. I guess we'll start off with what happened like right after we did the last video we did.
Literally the day after.
Yeah, literally the day.
You guys spent a whole hour on it, and the day after, the feds are like, "Hey, Miss Grant, can you pause that lawsuit? We're looking into this dude."
Yeah. So the feds, once again, this would be either the second or third time, are going after Vince for the allegations that Miss Grant and probably others, because if the feds are involved, there's probably other people that we don't know about, going after him. It's been 2 weeks, so I don't know. Is it just Vince? Right? The feds are just going after Vince, right?
As of right now, it is just Vince.
They're just going after Vince. So as far as we know. But that's kind of a big deal, I think. I think that's kind of a big deal that's probably not being talked about enough. So the continuing story of that. What do you think, Chase? You're the shaking your head.
I was thinking about the statement that John Laurinaitis made today, where he just wanted arbitration again.
He said something today.
He put out a statement through his lawyer.
Oh,
it didn't say anything besides he wants arbitration. It was just a bunch of legalese.
But I mean,
for arbitration.
No matter like what, like WWE and Laurinaitis, their side of it, of course they want arbitration because you don't want half the shit that's gonna come
they don't
out.
want discovery. Discovery would be really bad.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that people don't maybe get if you don't really understand, like I don't want to say the inner workings of the legal system, but just kind of how the legal system works is that a lot of the bad things that we usually get when there's like lawsuits or anything like this, it's usually in discovery that all of the leaks and all of that stuff start coming out, and you're like, what the hell is really going on? So,
well, question. So, like, I'm not saying I've lived. I mean, maybe I have. What exactly are the feds going like?
We don't know.
Like,
they are investigating. They've just asked her to pause her lawsuit so they can investigate.
I somehow missed that on Twitter. Okay. Or X, sorry.
Just looking at him. They're investigating him, Phil.
Well, yeah, I get that part. Right. I mean, obviously,
Well, here's the thing. It happened 2 weeks ago. It happened literally the day after we did our video. And very few people, which, surprise, surprise, have talked about it since. Not that there's been a lot of like news from it, but you still don't have a lot of people talking about it because, of course, people don't want to talk about it. So
I think the thing is going to be the news is going to slow down even more just because this is going to be dragged out for. I mean, they told her to pause it like 6 months or was that how? Yeah, so it's going to be a while since we
which gets right back to the point of you're now going to have it slow down on that end. Most of the people outside of the wrestling bubble have not that they don't care, but they're not following it as closely.
And of course, right now.
and the wrestling media, the wrestling bubble, doesn't want to talk about it. So it's like that's one of the problems. That's one of the reasons why I think so many people have kind of been like, hey, this is why the wrestling media needs to be better on this story, is because eventually everyone outside is going to stop caring. But if you really want wrestling to be better, you have to want things to be different, and that means you have to ask the questions that so many people apparently don't want asked. So
no, it's not being
asked. They don't care about pro wrestling being better, though, Josh.
You know what? I agree with you. We'll get to that. I this last 2 weeks has made me kind of realize that there is definitely a difference. Between what the people that watch WWE and pro wrestling fans. Not that there aren't pro wrestling fans that watch WWE and are diehard fans of WWE, but I definitely think there's a schism there. But we'll get to that later, I think.
What's on the docket, fellas?
I think it's next on your docket.
What's
If
next on
we're
my
done
doc?
with it,
Oh,
is
the very thing. I was like, so
yeah.
Like PTI.
TNA, NXT. We're not going to talk about NXT because I don't think did any of you watch
Hell
it?
no.
No,
Hell no.
I did see highlights, but yeah, that's part of
Oh,
it.
I saw one match. I
I
saw
wanted to watch Ethan Page, but
I saw Jordan Grace and I said Perez, and
It was okay. I saw people say it was great.
oh my god, man!
I saw people say it was great. I'm just saying.
Why?
Let me check.
Why
Let
is
me
the
check
bar
Gio.
so low?
Let me
Why
check
is it
Gio
so
cage
low?
match real quick. Let me see what cage match has on here.
Man, like it was fine. I would even say it was good, but I'm not gonna remember that.
why did she
I'm not gonna
lose though?
remember that.
7.4.
No, I'm not. I have no connection to this. But
What'd you
why
say
did
it
she
was?
lose?
7.4.
Mhm.
I guess I can see that. That's fine.
Why did Jordan Grace lose? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't work for WWE.
Yeah, she
Next
doesn't work for
question.
WWE.
Okay. Well, I know the
that's how
obvious
it works,
answer,
man.
but I'm saying the plan. Like, okay, that's true. Dumb questions get
I
done.
mean, it was for the belt. You gonna have her win the NXT title?
Yeah, then you take it to TNA, and maybe someone actually would have tuned in.
But that's not
Then
what
you
they're
give
doing.
it back
Phil.
to Roxanne. Well,
What-
right, Marquis. Right.
What they're doing is
Man, we're talking about NXT booking. Go for it.
no, I'm just saying.
And
they're-
TNA. What is
Sean cooked. Sean cooked.
It's not about the partnership. There is no partnership. They're trying to court Jordan Grace when her contract is up. They don't care about working with TNA at all. That don't mean nothing to them. They invited Jordan Grace to the Royal Rumble. She went to the Royal Rumble and impressed, and they was like, "Oh shit, we want her now. Let's try to court her."
Especially since
Do they need to court her?
No.
I feel like if they
No.
offer her, she will go. I saw that clip with her and what's the octopus
I
name?
don't
What's his name?
know. I don't know. But
Jonathan
that's what it's
Gresham?
about.
Gresham. Yeah, and they said it was her goal to get there. So I don't think it's much courting.
That's what it's about, though. It's about Jordan Grace. Like, it's
I
not
mean,
about
you would
TNA
hope
partnership.
WWE after she showed up in the Royal Rumble would be like, oh, maybe we need to sign her since she was one of like 6 people in that match that were actually over. I think that's something that people completely like, and I'm not even saying that to be funny. That's just kind of the way.
It'd also be a perception
Did you say
thing where
six? You say six?
it's a perception thing where they work with other companies. Hey, we're
Right.
working with TNA. We're bringing them in. So it
Right.
could be
I
that
think
as well.
that's where I think there's layers to it. You had the report that said that Jordan Grace showed up, and then the next TNA show had no bump in the ratings or whatsoever.
They weren't even in the ratings.
Yeah, it was bad. That's kind of surprising. I think you would think that at least some people would tune in. You would think
That goes back to your point that you just said. But
yeah, I know that they're not pro wrestling fans. There's a lot of WWE fans. I think, and if you kind of read between the lines, it was clear that even WWE thought there would be at least a bump, like some sort of like, hey, look, we were able to help TNA a little bit, and they didn't even get it, which makes me think that even within them, they kind of underestimated how much their fans are just WWE fans and don't care about maybe anything else in pro wrestling, even if they're because I think there's a lot of them that are aware of things outside of WWE.
They just don't give a shit.
Care.
they live on the internet. So
Unless his name is Joe Hendry.
I mean, he's
a good example. Yeah.
Look at
They were saying his name.
Who's the one that they're all? It's not Hekaleo. Who's the one that they're all like saying WWE's doing such a good job with him right now?
Tama Tonga?
Tonga.
Yeah. You look at that. They're all like, "Oh my god, this is the greatest thing ever." Don't even get Ethan Page. I like Ethan Page, but I mean, they all
look. I like Tama Tonga.
You would have thought like the Second Coming came to NXT with Ethan Page, and you saw, from what I understand, you saw on the NXT show Ethan Page. What Ethan Page gives you, right? Ethan Page looks the part.
3.5-star match.
He's an all right wrestler. He's fine.
Right. He looks the part, acts the part, and then gets in the
LA Knight.
You don't care.
I think
that's all they need, man.
Yeah, but that's what they think they need. So,
I said I think he's a little better than LA Knight, but
you think he's better?
Yeah, a little bit.
As a worker,
as a worker, yeah.
Oh, worker, yeah. You're right.
I think they're probably, because I think LA Knight is actually better at connecting to the audience.
Yeah,
And I think because that's his strongest suit.
His
Where I
stink.
think that's the problem with Ethan Page is he just, for whatever reason, which is weird because if you watch his like video log and you watch all of the stuff he does on YouTube, it's like how he does not connect with when he's out there live is just so like weird to me that I will never understand it. So
maybe it's a
not the
live
same.
thing. Maybe
It's not the same thing. I know
Yeah.
people keep like for years you would hear Dean Malenko's the funniest guy on the planet, and then every time they try to make him do something funny, it didn't work at all.
yeah.
That's a good point.
But I think it's interesting, and I think like what Markeem said. I think there's a lot of people that are looking at WWE and saying, like he said, "Hey, we're working with other people," even though that's questionable, because when you work with WWE, you're basically at
there's
at
one
their mercy.
result.
There's
That's
one
happened
result
throughout history
that has happened throughout history that apparently no one ever pays attention to because I guess they all think, oh, we aren't going to be the ones. We're
Paul
not gonna
Bosch
be
said
the
it
ones.
best. Paul Bosch said it best.
We're not going to be the ones. So
And Marigold, by the way, this is a good transition, but I know it's not on the list. They announced that Io Sky is going to Marigold to face Utami Hayashida. How the fuck you say it now? I just call it Utami. This is a prime example of them trying to court the Joshi talent. They don't care about helping Rossi Ogawa. They don't care about only one of two things will come from this. This is the kickoff point for whatever they do in Japan, or they plan to steal all those women. There's no, like, if you look at even the like the young girls they have on their roster, they all look like they're going to be in NXT soon. It's just they don't care about actually working with these people.
now I would quote. Do you think
This is the stuff they say about Tony Khan is what actually happens in the WWE. And don't get me wrong, Tony Khan is not infallible. We'll talk a little bit about that soon, but yeah,
I mean,
it's way worse.
We'll get to that. We'll get it. You mean you're talking like the New Japan fans' feelings towards Tony Khan, which
Yeah,
we'll get to that. We'll get to that because I've always got rants on that. What was I going to say? I was going to say something. I can't remember. Anyway,
We had a question from Markeem about.
Oh, do you think that she's going to make any kind of difference as far as tickets go?
I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know because
I've seen some people say yes, and I've seen a lot of people say she didn't really make a big difference ticket wise when she was there last time. So
yeah, of course. When she was in Stardom, they were struggling financially. When she was the top woman in Stardom, like, no disrespect, I love Io. Io's my girl. But when she was the top woman over there in Stardom, they were struggling. Now, granted, they were a different company then, but I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know. I'm interested. Let's put it like that. That card looks crazy though. So
what's their distribution like?
What you mean? Like, where they?
Like, how do people watch the shows?
Russell Universe.
Oh, they're on there. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah. For now.
No, they'll probably be on there because it seems like they've got a partnership with whatever that parent company is. What is that?
No, they do. They do. I'm saying until the WWE decides they want it. That's what I'm saying.
I like the quote that Rossi was like, Hunter was the one that told him to leave or something like that, like gave him the juice to leave. I thought that was kind of funny. Like, all right, bro.
Yeah,
How can people not see what's happening? How can people not see what's happening? That's all I'm saying. All right, man.
But no, that's a good thing to talk about. But no, I was curious because.
So speaking, you got a question because I had a really good
No.
segue.
No, go.
So speaking of getting the juice to leave, Ricochet got powerbombed through a windshield, and now he's off to AEW. So
he's out of retirement. He came out of retirement.
He's been having matches in WWE for 6 years now. How long has he been in WWE? Since 2018?
At least since he was in NXT. Since he's been on the main roster, I would say.
Yeah, I would say he was still having Ricochet matches in NXT, but since he's came to the main roster, I don't think there's anything that people go, hey, you know. I mean, you had people wanting to see that the Paul match, but we never got.
Oh, that one. That's it though.
Didn't that happen?
That
That match happened.
Did that
Yeah,
match happen?
yeah, that happened.
I don't remember it, but I remember it happened.
Yeah, that happened. It was great. It was great.
Isn't that the one they did the Spanish Fly and they fucked it up?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But other than that, I thought it rocked, man. I like that a lot. But other than that, nothing else to talk about.
He had great speed matches.
Oh,
Nobody watched that shit. You didn't even watch that shit. Don't lie, Phil.
No,
I watched one.
I don't even know what
Ricochet
channel
match.
it comes on.
I watched
The
very,
Dragon Lee
like,
one. The Dragon Lee one.
If that's probably the first one.
Yeah, it was the first.
Because I remember he did the NXT kickout face 2 minutes into the 3-minute match.
Oh,
I was like, okay, I'm done with this.
Like, I don't think he's going to be a game changer for AEW, but the number of great matches you can have with him is large.
His strengths can be better in AEW than it is in WWE.
Because, I mean, he's never going to be great on the mic. I do think he has. But I do think he has good presence. I think that's the thing. I think if you allow him to use his presence and not be like, but you got to be able to talk. I think you can get around that. And I think if you just have him have like the first 5 matches he has, just have cool matches with people, I think he'll be fine. Because people will be like, oh yeah, it's this guy. We forgot about this guy. Like I said, he's coming out of retirement. So
I want to know, does he want to have fun or does he want to make money? Because right away, I don't think he should go to AEW. I think he should be like a traveling, do it basically. But I'm just saying, like, do what, like,
Pac did.
Like what Pac did. Yeah, like just kind of try. It'll be there. It'll be there. You know what I mean? But because there's so many places he can help out. Imagine Ricochet in the G1 climax.
In the G1, I mean, it's right there.
Yeah, I mean, imagine him in the N1 victory this year. Imagine him appearing at Kobe World this year. You know what I mean? Imagine him showing up in Arena Mexico. There's so many places that he could help, and he'd go to AEW and just be a guy. He'd just be a guy.
Go to AEW and still do a lot of those things though. That's the thing.
Yeah, but you think if Khan signs him, he gonna let him work a whole G1 climax?
Why not?
Why not?
Yeah,
he just signed.
Because just like you said, but he, like you said, he's, I wouldn't say just a guy, but yes, he is another member of this roster. Another, I hate to use the word elite, but elite member of this roster. Is it going to hurt them to let him go for a month and do the G1?
I hope y'all.
I would be like, go do it. Go do it.
That benefits him.
Go
him
have
AEW if they did.
Go have an awesome G1, especially if the rumors about
Penta
are true.
Right, I was just going to say that.
Yeah, it's I mean, if
I thought he said he wasn't going.
What?
I thought Penta said he wasn't going, or is he just thinking about it?
Going where?
WWE.
Bad place.
G1.
Oh, you're talking about G1.
Oh, you didn't hear about that, Chad?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, he said he wants to do something internationally that's been on his bucket list.
It's been on his bucket list.
Yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
And people are like, G1? And I mean, could you imagine him going? Yeah, you could let him go to G1, come back, and everyone would be like, oh, yeah.
And the fact that he's in the G1, being that AAA used to be wrestler, that'd be so sick, man.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah, that would be cool.
People talk shit about Tony Khan, man. Look what he's doing for the wrestling world, man.
He's a sicko, man.
Hey, man, thinking about him versus Yoda Tsuji is like the coolest shit. Oh, man. Oh, man.
Tony
Khan pisses me off all the time, but
I would do Ricochet versus Mystico on Dynamite.
Oh, yeah. I agree. That'd be it. Yeah.
And like go, hey, could you ever imagine these guys having, a match on national TV and crank that, I don't care how many people get pissed off with you saying that, just say it, don't say, hey, that other company could have done this and they're a bunch of idiots.
Yeah, don't say that.
But
give us, I want Ricochet.
You claim
Phoenix too.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I just want Ricochet Phoenix too. That was another match though. I will say.
Of course.
Like, but
I want Tony Khan, who keeps telling me he books for the sickos, to have that mindset all the time.
Yes.
Have that mindset all the time, man.
Can I tell you that I hate that word, sickos?
Sickos?
Yeah,
Because basically a sicko is a wrestling fan. Like people say Collision is for the sicko. No, it's for the wrestling fans. Don't call me a sicko just because I like to watch a wrestling show. It gets on my nerves. It's fun, but it gets on my nerves.
Is it because he doesn't want to use the word mark anymore? I don't know.
No, I mean, because everyone uses it. Everyone, even fans say it for the sickos.
Yeah, that started.
It's another.
Oh, okay, I got you.
It's another.
If you want the latest AEW fan lingo, all you gotta do is be on our Discord and read what Jim writes every other word, and you'll pick it up.
You're kind of not wrong. I didn't see that one, but
or listen to like
AEW's dead.
No. Listen
I mean,
to Joe Lanza reviews from like a month ago, and you'll get like the lingo.
The lingo.
The lingo that they're using.
That he yells about for like 20 minutes.
Yes.
Question. I don't know if we're going into this yet, but based on what Brandon said, so like the whole AEW is dead argument. What was the to jump on that part? What was the if I'm going to word it right, what was the door or the amount of people that were at the last pay-per-view? Like, what did that come out?
The live gate?
Yeah, the gate. Yeah, the gate. Yeah.
They did double or nothing.
Yeah.
Double or nothing. I think what comps they had just a little under 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to say sold probably like 7.
And then the pay-per-view did 130 something?
Yeah, like 135.
Which is what they always do.
Yeah, which is about what they always do. Which when you look at look at like what the viewership is versus what they're how of those people they're getting to buy the pay-per-views, that's really, really, really good, and people don't talk about that nearly enough.
Yeah, man.
Which makes that TNA argument so stupid. People comparing AEW TNA. TNA never 1.4 for 5 years in a row. How many people bought those pay-per-views? Never bought those pay-per-views.
20,000.
What was the highest for TNA? It was only 20,000.
Well, the highest now is freaking January.
I told you. But they only did that a couple times.
Oh, okay. I guess
neither did we.
And that's why I never thought about that, Josh. Because look, we all know the ratings are struggling still, but they still do 120, 150.
They don't struggle compared to all of other TV.
Ratings don't matter that much, man. Like
they do matter.
Yes,
they do matter. Their contract.
Yes, they do, Phil. Oh my God,
you ate me up before I could finish my statement. Damn. What I meant is they don't matter in the sense of that people think they have to get this outrageous number. Is what I was trying to say. So USA or USA doesn't care. Like when I'm not USA TNT. Like as long as the slot that AEW, Dynamite, Collision, Rampage, whatever you want to put in that spot, whatever is in that spot and making more than reruns of, I don't know, pick a show is making. That's all they care about. Revenge of the Sith, Big Bang Theory. I don't know what Big Bang Theory goes leading into Dynamite, but those numbers, as long as it's beating them.
Well, no, it's more than Dynamite.
It's more than Dynamite.
Well,
at least the viewer.
Well, right. What I'm saying is at least it's if they can get people.
I think what my buddy's trying to say, my badly spoken buddy is trying to say, is that as long as the networks are happy, that's what matters. It doesn't really matter about the.
You have to look at TV as a total, as a whole. You have to look at what did 2 weeks ago where Collision was the number one tied for the number one show in all of TV. Yeah. Saturday night is not a good TV night. It's people forget that Rampage is in not a good TV slot at all. But
it hasn't been for months. It's always skipping around 6:30.
Yes, but even if in its regular time slot, it's it's not in a good time slot, and so it's never going to get these outrageous ratings. But it's almost always does extremely well for the time slot it's in. You always have to look at that. And then you have to look at the other thing that, that gets people really mad when you start talking about it. But we don't know what those ad rates are. We think we know what the ad rates are. And if the ad rates are what we think they are, the ad rates are better than what traditionally wrestling gets. So even if you're not getting the ratings that you think that a wrestling show should get. If those ad rates are historic or better than what pro wrestling gets historically, then it doesn't matter because the ad rates are what's important. You can have a show that doesn't do all that great in the ratings, but if those ad rates are crazy, then that was always the dirty little secret about NASCAR, is that the ad rates for NASCAR were always insane comparatively to what people thought of NASCAR. And so there's my little
well, here's my thing, and don't jump on me if I'm wrong. Let me finish. So isn't this all right, like I said, isn't this going to end up being pointless anyway when AEW and Raw and all them are on streaming services who don't announce this shit? It's not going to matter. Because Netflix doesn't.
Not gonna be on.
But AEW, they're gonna keep a.
I think Tony wants to be on TV. I don't think.
You don't think they're gonna all be on Max? You're just gonna have something. Okay, all right, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
Because here's the thing.
That's fair enough. Or what thoughts?
I will tell you what I think, and I might be just being an old man when I say this. Going straight, only having your stuff on streaming, I don't think is good, because think about how you have to watch a streaming show. You have to sit down, and it has to be a destination show. The way these shows are now, they don't have to be a destination show. That's why the ratings go up and down. It's very dependent on who watches it. This would be different if more people talked about the DVR numbers, which most people don't talk about at all. But if you look at the DVR numbers, Raw does good with DVR numbers. SmackDown, I mean, their numbers are better, but it's not. They don't do as well DVR as Raw, Dynamite, or Collision, or Rampage. I think NXT does okay with DVR numbers, but those numbers are the numbers that people really need to be looking at, because that tells you what the actual base fans are, and we don't get that discussion. I think Raw going to Netflix is going to be interesting, because literally how many people are going to watch, because I think people in their minds think, it's going to go to Netflix, it'll be fine, I don't even have to watch it live, I can wait until it airs later, not realizing that Netflix is going to be running ads during Raw. I don't think a lot of people realize that they're going to be running ads, unless you pay, I think it's the $20.
It'll be like Peacock. It'll be like Peacock for WWE, right? Like where if you have the premium,
right? But the premium is going to be like $20. That's the difference with Netflix.
Oh yeah, Netflix is more expensive. Correct.
Yeah, it's going to be more expensive. So I don't think people have gotten that yet. So I think that's another thing that people don't get, because I'm not going to sit there if I can't fast forward. If I'm thinking in my head, I can fast forward through stuff. If I can't fast forward, because
I'm not watching it.
Yeah, I mean,
nope. I'm a streamer. I'll literally, I have all of them. I'm not watching it.
So
I'll be honest about AEW. So I don't watch Collision live, but I can skip through it, because the reason is most of the time I'm doing something on Saturday night. If I'm not, I'll watch it. But
a lot of people are like that. I don't think that's it. There's a lot of people like I said, the DVR numbers for Collision and
wait till sports happen.
Yeah, So
I mean, more sports happen. Sorry, to be fair.
Here's the thing, right? I think Tony, I didn't Phil brought this up. I think Tony Khan, if AEW had been around for 20, 30 years like the WWE has, I think he'd be more apt to do something like that, move to streaming. The thing that makes the WWE think they can be the ones that do it is because they're established. The zeitgeist knows the WWE. We all know the WWE. Tony Khan wants to be on TV, so you get the curious people who flipping through channels to just stop one day and go, "What is this wrestling? This is different wrestling."
The what, Markeem?
The wrestling.
What?
What did you just describe?
What? Oh, the casual
fan. The casual fan. That's what an actual casual fan is. So
they do exist.
On the couch, and they exist. But they're just chilling on the couch, and they happen to come across, wrestling. They go, "Hey, this is cool."
It's not a casual fan; it's a casual viewer. Honestly.
Yeah, that's a great way to say it. I love that word, actually.
It's a non-hardcore.
The way people describe casual fans, though, they describe them as dummies that need their handheld.
They describe themselves as what they do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not wrong. You are not wrong. We were just talking about this on something or the other. I can't remember.
Oh man.
Hopefully we hear some news soon about the whatever deal they're gonna have. I felt like what I heard was that maybe the holdup was the fact that Tony wasn't able to sell the pay-per-views to WBD. Could there be a situation where they get a contract for all the TV stuff from WBD and then offset the pay-per-views with someone else? Like, do you think? Like, if like Amazon comes in and say, "Hey, we'll buy the pay-per-views from you."
The second the exclusivity window's up, everything's fair game.
When does that go up?
July, reportedly.
Yeah. The thing is, that's the thing I think is the thing, because I don't think he wants a WWE type deal. I think he wants a UFC type deal. Right. I think that's always been the case. And if you can get if you can get that UFC just type deal, I'm not saying UFC type money. I'm just saying you have somebody come in, you sell them the pay-per-views, they still sell the pay-per-views. That's the big thing.
You don't want to get away from that price point just in case. You don't know what's going to happen in 5 years, and you got to go back to sell them yourself. So and do that, then I think that's what he wants. I think that's probably what he's pushing for, because if you kind of read between the lines and you hear the dollar amounts that apparently the deal that's on the table is worth, that's a hell of a deal, because we're talking at least double of what they're getting now, maybe triple of what they're getting now, which, by the way, will make them solvent. They don't even have to get double to be solvent.
They become idiot proof, just like WWE.
Yep. But or CMLL. CMLL is idiot proof too. I mean, if you know how their business runs, it's ran different, but if you know how it's ran, it's very idiot proof. It's probably
Arena. Look, we spend a little bit of money. We sell out Arena Mexico every week.
We own all of the arenas that we run.
There you go.
That's the other thing. That we run, they own all the arenas they run, so it's like they're not having to pay that. So it's a very different type of deal.
Question: are the PLEs or whatever, are they going to Netflix or do they stand on Peacock?
They're staying
on Peacock because they still have a contract through 2026.
Except for the international ones. The international.
Yeah, that's what I was going. That's what I was going to add.
Yeah, which is international. If you're international, you get everything on Netflix.
Yeah,
right. Yeah,
which is the part of the deal that really doesn't get talked about is that
AEW can scoop up all these damn channels overseas that are losing out on WWE programming,
and that Netflix kind of got a deal with the international thing too. If you look at like how much they paid for the international rights, because I think they got everything but India, Saudi Arabia, which they might end up getting, and I think there's one other one in like South America that they didn't get yet, just because the deal hasn't fallen out yet. But it's kind of crazy.
Sorry, LV, that's what they're called. Okay, Bubba Ray told me, and I don't. I mean, he doesn't lie.
It's not. It's not crazy as this card for Forbidden Door.
There you go.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You said crazy as far as like you don't think it's good, or
yeah. He's thinking
it's not good card.
No. He's just segueing. That's what he's segueing.
Yeah, but I'm questioning the segue.
Here's the deal. Every Forbidden Door has had a match that's been like, wow, I can't believe this is happening. I look at MJF versus Roos, Swerve versus Ospreay, random ladder match for the TNT title, Sage Monet versus Stephanie Vaquer, Tony Storm versus Mina Shirakawa, Zack Sabre versus Orange Cassidy, Mox versus Naito, Jeff Cobb versus Ricochet. That's my guess for it, by the way. It's not announced. I'm just there's nothing that like makes you go, whoa.
What about the first one?
Not about Swerve Ospreay?
What about the first one? Compare it to the first one. Did we have that type of match? Because we shitted on that card going into it, and remember that show turned out to be one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time.
Which one was that? The main event. What was the main event for that?
The main event was Mox versus Tanahashi, right?
Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I remember.
Yeah, we did shit on that.
We did.
But everybody should. But
there was no standout match. The last year had the standout matches. The Ospreay and Omega, and then the Danielson Okada.
Yeah.
Bro, I will.
I say that to say I think this card is all right. I really do. I like the card a lot.
And I think this is the card without any CMLL talent on it. I figure we're going to get at least somebody. We'll get some of them. Which I think that's.
Wait, Stephanie Vaquer's on there. That's a CMLL talent.
Well,
gotcha.
She's dual. She's She's actually
got a strong
chin. Yeah, she gets paid by New Japan and CMLL. She's doing.
But I think whatever match that is, I think that
she eventually gonna get paid by.
I think that'll be your this is Forbidden Door. I think that's going to be your match. I do agree. I don't think this is like this seems very.
This seems like an amazing AEW pay-per-view.
Yeah, seems like a fun.
I get you.
Yeah.
Again, I thought the first Forbidden Door was better than last year's, even though they had that Okada match. I just thought the quality of the card overall was better, and I feel like this show was heading towards that as well.
I think the other thing about the first show is you had all of those New Japan guys that were finally able to be in front of a crowd, and you could tell that they were hyped.
Shingo,
yeah. Okada, when Okada came out and he was just like, "Let's fucking go," when everyone's going nuts. I mean, that added something, to those guys. So, but I think that but I think we knew that going in, that this was not be as like a oh my god card, unless you got a bunch of oh my god stuff with the CML guys because of just the current New Japan roster. I think if you went in thinking you were going to get a bunch of oh my god AEW versus New Japan matches, you're setting yourself up for disappointment because the New Japan roster just isn't that right now.
Y'all let me know when y'all want me to go off.
Go off. Go off.
And Chase, you're right. But if, let's say, next year rolls around, right, and we're having this conversation, it's time to replace Gato, man. Like, it's time to, because listen, you have put all the cards on the table. You have done it with all of these guys that are now in positions to be made. I get what he's been doing all year. I haven't loved it, but I get what he's been doing all year. Now is the time to elevate these dudes, because it's not Tony Khan's job to do that. You know what I mean? It's your job to do that. You put this belt on Jeff Cobb. You're letting him talk more. It's Jeff Cobb's turn to be elevated. Zack Sabre Jr. is still there. Yeah, you know what I mean? Don't wait for someone that you think is somehow Tanahashi's gonna turn the clock back or something. No, Zack Sabre Jr. should honestly be the world champion, not fucking Jon Moxley. You know what I mean? You don't wait for the other guys that you deem like not ready yet. Now is the time to elevate them in the eyes of the world. Yota Tsuji elevated, cool. Shota Umino, did you hear the pop Shota Umino got when he was on Dynamite? Look at that, Gato. Do something, elevate him. You know what I mean? Elevate. Look, say what you will about the House of Torture. Say what if you saw Dominion. Look,
sucks.
Listen. But if you saw Dominion, you know what I mean? They're stars over there, bro. You got a young dude in that stable, Ren Narita. Stop beating him like a drum. You know what I mean? Like, Evil shouldn't be the one that is like he shouldn't be leading this group. It should be the young guy. You have young guys now. Let the young guys lead you. You did it with Tanahashi. You did it with Okada. Why can't you do it with the current crop? Because they're good. They are good. Believe in them. Like, I know that you didn't do a Best of Super Junior final. I know. I get why. But at the same time, the main event of Dominion should have been Jon Moxley versus Shota Umino. You know what I mean? Not El Desperado winning another trophy. Great match, by the way. But not him. Well, I'm sorry, winning a trophy because he never won. But not El Desperado winning a trophy. The main event honestly should have been either Jon Moxley winning, putting over Shota Umino, or Shota Umino celebrating. You know what I mean? Being the next step in the next chapter of what New Japan Pro Wrestling is. I feel like if we keep going the way that we're going, next year Forbidden Door should just be called AEW Presents Forbidden Door and just have the fucking symbols of like all the companies that work with AEW for the show. Because I've already seen people complaining that the only New Japan, no New Japan guys were announced, and then Naito and Moxley were announced. And people were like, that's still just an AEW guy. What do y'all want? What do you want Tony Khan to do with this? Gato hasn't done his job. It would be Yota Tsuji in this spot. if you know what I mean, it would be Shota Umino maybe challenging fucking Swerve Strickland if he did a good enough job making the audience that maybe have heard of these guys but not seen. You know how many like people just in general when it comes to pro wrestling have heard of Okada but have never seen Okada. Like we saw Okada, you know what I mean? But there's so many people that have heard that name that never saw him. Tanahashi heard the name, never saw him. Naito, blah blah blah. Jay White, blah blah blah. Will Ospreay, you know what I mean? You need to do that with these guys. Like we all know all the people I'm talking about. You know what I mean? But other than Shota, I don't believe that if Yota Tsuji came out in the main event of Forbidden Door, that crowd would care at all. And that's Jato's fault.
I don't know. I mean, to be fair, now I don't watch New Japan, but I don't know who that Shota guy is. And what's the other guy you said?
You don't know. Did you watch the Gauntlet? He was the Japanese dude.
You don't know Shota Umino? Shooter with Moxley?
I do know. Okay, I do.
Yeah, I'm about to say, what the hell you talking about? You saw Dynamite.
Well, the names get me. Okay, I forgot.
Yeah, a lot of people know him as Shooter. Well, that's why I brought that up, which is I think it's goofy, but that's what people call him.
But that's what Brandon knew.
But what Martin was saying, I agree, because where are the four young guys that it is clear you're trying to elevate and you're gonna hopefully build this company around once we get to Wrestle Kingdom? Like it looks like maybe that's what they're trying to do. None of those dudes are on this card yet. None of them. And that's not Tony Khan's fault, because I don't know which one you would put on this card, because none of them you want people who are hot, you want people that people want to see, and none of those dudes are there. So
Phil wants to know who the four are.
No, well, hold on. Well, but I want to say who's the because I'm ignorant to a lot of New Japan. I'll be honest, but like who's the next Okada, Tanahashi, Naito? Those guys, like who is that upcoming? Because I feel like I'm in the know with that. Like
we don't know. We don't know.
Okay, right. Which is what you're.
One of them we know, and that's Yota Tsuji. We know that. I guess Shota Umino. I would say. They wanted to be Yuya, but I don't think it'll ever be Yuya. And Ren Narita to an extent, we'll see what he does when he turns face. And if he stays, which I doubt it, they want Gabe Kidd to be that dude too. But I just don't know. I don't know.
Shooter is the only one that's been on AEW television. Is that correct?
Yes, I believe so.
Because that's the only one I know.
Ren's been on there. I mean, it was years ago.
I'm talking about like recently.
Oh yeah, Ren Narita.
To me, not being like obviously huge into New Japan like recently, but like, so that's my fault. But as like just going back,
it's not your fault.
It's not your fault.
It has been
It's not your fault. It's not your fault.
There's got to be something exciting to get you to want to watch.
But you guys are usually the ones that like, hey, you need to watch this. So I guess maybe that you're saying
like, there's nothing for me to be like, hey, you need to watch, Phil.
Okay.
There's nothing.
I've watched a small handful of shows this year.
Wrestle Kingdom. I thought someone said there was something. Okay, well maybe I'm wrong.
Wrestle Kingdom was good, but that was January.
That's true. It is June. It's hard to believe it's June, but what I'm asking, what I'm saying is,
Dominion I thought was a great show too. But
what I'm saying is like from my perspective, like obviously. But like what I'm saying is like I would watch New Japan, of course, like if you guys said something, but I'm saying like, or like if I heard popularity, randoms, or what I'm saying. But the thing is, it's like I feel like, yeah. Anyways, I'm rambling.
But I mean, Japanese wrestling is a whole.
It is going.
I can't. I lost my thought. Well, I'm just saying like there's obviously. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. There's obviously big stars. Or not big stars in New Japan right now. If I'm not seeing them, is that
right,
proper?
I get what you're saying.
Okay,
you're trying to say there are no crossover stars. Like you wish.
There you go. Okay, there you go. Because I love. I don't think he came from New Japan, but I'm gonna butcher his name. Takesha. Like Takesha is like one of my favorites.
That's DDT.
Like, I know, right? I know you said it's all right. Okay, all right. I know it's not New Japan, but. That's the example. Like, where's that guy? Where, like, I loved him as soon as I saw him. So that's what I'm saying. Like, where's that?
I always find that funny when people say that because, like, I was so tired of that dude before the AEW. Right? Like, it's so funny, bro. It's so funny how a new coat of paint would just change somebody because he was overpushed and he was like John Cena.
Okay,
bro. It was crazy.
But he was also the only one they had too at that.
No, he wasn't, Josh. That's what's annoying. He wasn't though. He wasn't. He wasn't.
That is not what I'm saying. I'm not like that. Come on.
But the problem is that, and this gets to the the New Japan fans that get mad at Tony Khan, but you can't have a relationship that's equal if the star levels are not equal, and they're not equal right now. They're not equal at all. They were equal when AEW started. They were equal first Forbidden Door. I would even say to a degree they were equal last year, though not as much. But you definitely have seen New Japan do this while AEW's done this. And, how many times has New Japan pulled that same shit with other promotions
all
they've
the
worked
smaller
for?
Look, man. Hey, look. I will enter with a straight face, right? Can anybody with a straight face say that Kaito Kiyomiya is not going to lose the Game Kid? Like, can you say that with confidence in 2 weeks? Or no, it's a week. It's this weekend, I think.
Yeah.
He's not going. No, it's next week. He's not going to lose the Game Kid. I cannot say that with confidence because the way y'all say Tony Khan, Little Brothers New Japan, they do it with all the other Japanese companies. So let's be fair here. Let's be fair. I'm just saying. Let's be fair. That's all I'm saying.
In a situation, and also in a situation where it would benefit New Japan for some of the other companies to be stronger, if they're not going to just sign everybody up, and if they're going to do the Japanese thing and not sign everybody up and only use their guys and not try to raid people, then you have to try to elevate those other promotions, and they're not going to do that.
They got no interest. They got no interest in doing that.
No,
and they never have, man. They've been the big dog in Japan for the most part for fucking what? Since
15 years.
Since seven. Oh, for the most part.
No.
Let's do it real quick. Let's do it. So, all right. So when it started, I would say probably right, like New Japan. Let's say the 70s. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to the 80s. Let's go to the 80s. Look, man. Look, All Japan and New Japan. Like, is it really that much? In the 80s? Is it really? It's about right here.
Late 80s. But I get what you're saying, early 80s, but when the booking changed, which wasn't in the 90s, it was late 80s is when the booking really changed and you started seeing things change. I would say that they were more on the same level. Now they're different types of shows. That's the thing. And I think that's the thing that people don't get because, of course, all of us that were watching, especially people like me in the late 90s, you were only watching comp tapes. So you were just watching the best of whatever was coming out of Japan. So you were seeing a lot more of All Japan because of that. Because
in terms of business, it was about the same.
Because top three, because those top three matches on a New Japan or on an All Japan show were always out of this world insane.
Just blew away the New Japan. Yeah, but in terms of business, it was the same.
But
and then
the
90s,
I'm just saying
Josh, the 90s, I'm just saying. The only time they weren't the top dogs, if you want to be real, is like the early 2000s.
Look. They have always been either number one or number two. You can definitely argue. I would definitely say late, like early 2000s. You could definitely.
That's the only time where it was like no, but
they were not number one. They may have been number three at the time, really.
But like other than that, man,
you're right. You're. I'm just saying that it hasn't been like this though. They've always had somebody that was at least somewhat on their same level, right?
Oh yeah. I'll say that. Yeah, I'll say that. The gap is crazy over there. Like literally, the only people that are making money are New Japan and honestly Stardom, which are owned by the same people. Right. So that's it.
I mean, and maybe,
and I guess All Japan now too, because they're starting to trend.
But and maybe some of those smaller promotions that just don't spend a lot of money, maybe them.
Yeah.
But that would be it. But you're dealing. But my point, what I was trying to make is that one of the things, and I always try to bring this up, is that people have this illusion that, oh my God, All Japan must have been so much better than New Japan. And the thing about the New Japan shows in the 90s were these shows from start to finish in New Japan were far better than the full shows of All Japan. You never saw those full All Japan shows because a lot of the undercard was crap. It was crap. You got to it was very much, if you go and you watch like when WWE started getting hot, the undercard was like kind of just there, but the main events, usually the top 2 matches, were just like incredible. And then that led to the Attitude Era where you had like more stuff. But New Japan was definitely more like WCW, where from start to finish, the shows were much better. And that's kind of the difference. And that's one of the reasons why, like, people say there's this bias for All Japan, but it's not so much a bias as much as if you're buying comp tapes, you're not going to get a lot of All Japan or New Japan stuff, because
no, you weren't.
It didn't peak as high as match for match. It didn't peak as high as the All Japan stuff, and that's why. But the shows peaked higher. So,
all right,
Josh, you on 90s Puro.
Well,
that was a rant. That was a rant. I was enjoying the nerd out there. I loved it.
Yeah,
I had no clue what you're talking about.
The main point is that these people that are mad at Tony Khan need to look in the mirror, bro. That's just how business works. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry that New Japan was devastated by the pandemic. I'm sorry, but it's just the reality. They're in a rebuilding mode, and until they rebuild, Tony Khan is the alpha in this relationship. It's just that simple. I'm sorry.
All right, I got 2 questions to what what you just said. Number 1, this might be a dumb question, but where do you?
I don't believe it.
Where does New Japan Pro Wrestling get like their do they grow their own people, or because I don't know that
no, they don't have laboratories.
Oh my god, you know what?
Yes, they have
a dojo.
They have a dojo. They train their own people. It's one of the problems with, in my opinion, with Japanese wrestling, is all of these companies have a dojo.
Look, there might be somebody watching that doesn't know. So
no, that's a good question. They all have their own dojos.
You know how big our audience is? They know.
Sure. They know. But
don't ever assume your audience knows, man. That's rule number 1.
They all have their own dojos, but then they're super loyal to the people that came through their dojos and aren't willing to maybe pick people from outside the companies. And that to me has been a big problem with Japanese wrestling since pretty much the early 2000s. Because before, you would have people jump back and forth. You would have stuff happen, and you're just not seeing that. And I think it's one of the bad things is I know if I was a fan in the US and we went through basically what WWE did, where it was just like you only wrestled there, they didn't sign anybody, you didn't bring anybody new, it was only the people who came through like NXT or OVW or whatever, it would get boring. And it did get boring. So there you go.
And the second part was, I love the Ospreay Swerve, but why are they doing that now when they could have Ospreay versus somebody and Swerve versus somebody? And
I think more
the AEW versus.
Because I think they're trying to. This is what I think. I think Ospreay loses due to whatever, and then he has to come through and do the, like, he wins the Owen or whatever, and you do that type of thing. I think there's a story to it.
No, I get that. Yeah, I'm kind of playing devil advocate with that.
But I think that's probably like the map, because I also think they know that they have to serve somebody up to Swerve. That's a bigger name than what they have, and I mean, you have Ospreay, you have Swerve beat Ospreay, that's a big deal. And they have a great match, that's going to be a big deal, and do a lot of that stuff.
What's July? Why am I drawing a blank?
What?
Nothing in
July.
July.
Okay, July's the 1 month there isn't one. Okay, that's what I thought. And then it goes all in out. Okay.
But you'll get
special shows and stuff.
You'll get
the New York Snow,
and you'll get
Blood and Guts, that's
others, right. And all of that stuff. So,
all right.
Yeah, my internet's acting crazy, y'all. I don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
Well, you better get a power wave because you wanted to talk about something else.
Oh yeah.
You want to go, or do you want me to go?
Oh yeah, go ahead, Josh. Go. Oh yeah, a little bit of
like I'm out.
I know who Terry Bogard is.
I don't.
You'll find out soon.
Oh, we're talking about Terry.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Terry Bollea. I was like, where's this going? No,
here's the thing. So Markeem's the one that can probably talk about this a lot better, but more than me, because people know that he's hardcore fighting game fan. I love fighting games too.
Whack ass arcade in Greensboro.
Yes. Yeah. So, but I'm not any good, so I don't.
Terrible.
I'm terrible at them. So, like, I'll play them, but I'll usually play them when they're discounted because I'm not going to get online and get my ass kicked.
Bigger on the internet.
Chase knows I'm pretty good at them.
But Capcom announced their season 2 for Street Fighter 6, and they dropped Terry Bogard and Mai just to tease us for what we really want, which is SNK versus Capcom 3. Why they can't just announce that shit, I don't know. It pisses me off. But
you just heard Josh advocating for money going to Saudi Arabia. There you go.
I don't
right
give a
there.
shit.
Right there.
I don't give a shit.
Right there.
So, WWE fan, I'm watching.
Oh, damn.
Crown
Look
Jewel.
how the tables turn when
He's
it's something you care about. All of a sudden, it doesn't matter that SNK's covered in blood money.
Hey,
Truth.
They're in blood money like a lot of other people are. They're not out there.
All right, y'all.
I'm just saying.
Here's the thing.
All right, Ben.
Here's the thing, right? I think they put out these characters to see how they do in terms of sales, because I mean, let's call a spade a spade. In the terms of the fucking hierarchy now in fighting games or whatever, SNK isn't what SNK used to be. It's like, it's like several steps below the big two, Namco and Capcom. If Terry comes out and people clamor for him and he sells these season passes and stuff like that, then I think we get closer to our announcement. If they're doing what is the rumor that Ken is going to be in City of the Wolves, or Luke, I heard Luke or Ken or one of those two, then yeah, we're getting closer to that announcement. All I want is, from a gameplay standpoint, for it to have the spirit of the first two games, where it literally played like a combination of both, where you had the choice to choose pretty much the Capcom groove or the SNK groove. And then while doing that, the gameplay itself, the properties of the characters, the way they move, the way they even looked in the artwork, all changed according to what you do. I just don't know if we get that sort of thing now, just because how gaming has changed. And by the way, I don't know if we'll get the roster that we want either, to be honest with you, because I don't know if you know, Josh, but SNK don't own a lot of those characters anymore. So I don't know. I don't know if it's gonna be the same. I just want to talk about that, y'all, because I'm so excited. I'm so excited when I saw Terry.
The real question is,
but go ahead, Josh.
What? No, go ahead. Phil, what were you going to say?
I was just going to, mine's kind of a troll. I'll just say, the real question is, when is Marvel vs. Capcom 4?
Never. That ain't never coming out. That ain't
never. Really? Are they done?
Here's the thing. If they just announce, and I told Marquis this, if they just announce a Capcom versus SNK like bundle, like a collection of all three of the games. Just give me all three of the base games. You don't even have to give me crap from, you don't have to give me the card games and the mobile games. I would take those two. Just give me that, so that we can at least
just give me rollback netcode and just re-release them. I'll take that shit.
I because we have waited forever for this. This is like the dream that people have. I mean, I don't even think people realize how old those games really are, and how far we've advanced as far as like fighting games since then. I think that's one of the things that kind of gets lost.
Let's put this in wrestling terms, y'all. This would be like WWE and AEW working together if they did this. It'd be just like that. It'd be just like that, bro. Just think about the magnitude of it. In many ways, to me, SNK, Capcom SNK was a bigger deal in the arcades than like even Marvel vs. Capcom.
Right.
Just saying.
Right. So, but yes, we had to talk about it because like it's a huge big.
It's a huge deal, bro. It's a huge deal.
Big, like something that we probably won't. But we'll see. We'll see if maybe they hint at something at Evo. That's where I would think if you're gonna
I won't be there this year, but yeah.
if you're gonna hit something,
man, where are you gonna be?
I'm gonna be at home watching it. Ain't got no money, man.
But to me, if you're going to announce it, or if you're even going to tease it, that's where you tease it, is Evo, because those are the people that probably deserve to see the announcement. Not
I was there when they announced Geese Howard and Tekken 7. Like I was there, and my cousin nearly had a stroke like this. like I'm not even bullshitting. They had to get the EMTs over there and get him oxygen and water because he lost it. He lost it.
I mean,
shit like that for us. You know what I mean?
Right.
Shit like
but don't tease us. Either tell us
do it or don't.
Either
do it or don't. Because it's funny because they asked what's the SNK guy? It was like, hey, is there any possibility of Capcom versus SNK 3? This fool said, "Stay tuned." What do you mean, stay tuned, sir? Oh shit! He said, "Stay tuned."
Well, this has been going on for what, 2 years now? Because you had Evo 2 years ago where they showed the artwork. You had Evo last year where they kind of like, oh, maybe maybe we're at least talking to each other now, so that's good. And then everyone got their hopes up, and now we've got this. So here's hope. Here's hope that we get this, because I would like to see this before I die.
That's basically all I had to say. Anybody else got any random thing they excited about?
I gotta get Gears of War prequel, baby. Am I the only one? It looks freaking awesome.
I don't know.
The
Doom game looks better. So
what?
The Doom game looks better.
Well, there will be more wrestling to talk about when we have Clash at the Castle will have happened, and we could actually have more of a forbidden.
When is that? When is that?
That's this Sunday, Saturday.
Oh wow,
this Saturday. Phil, next time you come on our show, please talk more. So just adjusting your headphones, drinking your cups. You wanted to be here.
I did. Well, I thought I talked.
You talked some.
I mean, okay, yes, sir.
I'm gonna constantly give you shit.
I know, of course you are. TNA.
And you know what? I'll never watch TNA tomorrow or in
2 weeks. Excuse me?